All right. Test.
Test.
Test. Test.
Quentin Tarantino. So now we'll get into our idiot idiot inquiry. I'm trying to say here, gentlemen. So Quentin Tarantino made some social media news recently. He was on some podcast talking about Marvel movies in Hollywood. So his quote here: "They are the entire representation of this era of movies right now, and there's not really much room for anything else. Part of Marvelization of Hollywood is you have all these actors who become famous playing these characters, but they're not movie stars. Captain America is the star. Thor is the star. It's these franchise characters that become the star." So that is our idiot inquiry of the week here, guys. So do you believe that Quentin Tarantino is correct in, you're playing a famous comic book character that's already built up with, if you have certainly there's super fans of these characters, even casual fans recognize who these characters are, right? Mm-hmm. People play these characters, they become famous. So is it that, is it just what he said? Is it the fact that they're not, it's the character itself is already famous. So someone plays the character and it makes them famous. It makes them a movie star, but they're not really a movie star. Or is it, no, that's not the case here. Yeah, you have a famous character, but you still need good acting to bring that character to life. You can say that with any anything in the movies. Many movies are fictional characters, and obviously some are playing actual people, but they're playing their version of them. So it's still the actor bringing that character to life. So what do you think? So is Quentin Tarantino correct or no, or is it somewhere maybe in between? Go ahead, please.
Actually, we brought up Ang Lee before.
Yep.
Right. The Hulk or Incredible. Which one did he do?
He did the Hulk. Name.
Right. Okay.
The first one, though. Yeah.
And with who played the Hulk?
Bana.
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana. Yeah.
Great actor. Amazing actor, actually. But look what that movie did. If people were infatuated with the Hulk, that franchise with him would be going.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mark Ruffalo could easily do his own movie. Are we on agreement in that?
Yes.
Him as the Hulk?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't want to see a Hulk movie if it's not Mark Ruffalo. I don't want to see Hulk content without Mark Ruffalo.
Thank you. There it goes, right there. So it's not.
And I don't even care about I'm not a fan of the character.
Right.
It's just if I'm seeing it portrayed.
There you go.
Of the ones that I've seen, argument. I want to see Mark Ruffalo do it.
There's my argument.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love Quentin Tarantino. I love his films. All right, let me backtrack. I don't know Quentin Tarantino. He seems like a quirky, fun dude.
Love him. He chooses the best steakhouses to go to dinner to. And I just think we have the best time when we're being besties out of town.
Secret fucking handshake. No, I love his films. I love his outlook on films. I don't know him as a dude. So I can only speak on his work, and I love his work.
Mm-hmm.
But he's wrong on this. I mean, acting is acting. Pixar's, all these Pixar movies, these voice people they just don't walk in, read a couple lines, and leave.
Which
that's fucking acting.
You would know because you were the voice of sadness in Inside Out, correct?
Well done. Yes, of course.
All right, so you think he's wrong? It's the actor?
Of course he is.
There's been other examples of. Yeah,
I see what he's.
Well, let me. I just wanted to make this real quick point. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're good.
And the reason I had said was giving praise to Quentin Tarantino was for me to backhandedly say, seems a little bit like he's jealous.
Yeah.
You haven't put a movie out in so long. When you do, they're fantastic. But it's not Marvel's fault that they can get these people and these scripts and get everything pushed out.
People are falling over themselves to see their movies and shit. I mean,
and it takes you, 10 years to make one film. That's on you, bud.
Yeah.
True.
Don't get me wrong. I will fucking wrap my own ass around the block, for a blockbuster to see your movies. But you only do it once a decade. That's on you, man. Sorry.
Yeah. I see what he like. I mean, I feel like I could see looking at the Marvel stuff and being like, look, okay, how do we know Chris Hemsworth? Right? Where did he really skyrocket? It's from Thor. Has he been in other movies since? Is he a movie star now? Yes. But, Thor helped build him to where he is now. Or Chris Evans. Chris Evans has a long acting career. He's been in a lot of things. Was he ever the list of celebrity before Captain America? No, he was in a Fantastic Four movie, and he's acted in many things. He was in Not Another Teen movie back in 99 or 2000. He's been acting forever, but now he's a massive star, and that's since Captain America, right? Like there are situations like that with or Robert Downey Jr., right? He had a big career, some shit went down, and then it kind of revamped everything.
That motherfucker was Charlie Chaplin.
It revitalized, or it did a lot to promote people's careers since. But like Dean said, that's not just the character, because I can tell you I remember when they were coming out with an Iron Man movie. As a casual comic book fan, I remember being like, what an obscure character to make a movie about. Mm-hmm. No, it's hand in hand. You need the writing and you need the acting. And they got a good actor.
The characters, they wouldn't have had 48 different fucking Fantastic Four movies.
Well, yeah, and if it was just the characters, guess what? We'd still just have Superman and Batman and Spider-Man movies, because those are the only three that anybody ever gave a shit about in the first place.
Right.
It's writing and it's acting, and the two come together. So when you get that, storm
Synergy
together, which Marvel has done so well.
The Storm's part of the X-Men.
Well, yes. Okay, great point. Catwoman, very famous character. How was that fucking Catwoman movie with Halle Berry? Dog shit. Nobody liked it. It sucked. You know why? Because the writing sucked, not because the movie star. You know what I mean?
She's a great actress. I mean, she's one of the greatest actresses we have.
Absolutely. So I can see where that,
and it's one of the greatest characters we have. It just didn't fucking work.
Right. Yeah. I could see where that thought process would come from, where somebody would be like, well, but it's like you said, it's wrong. It's wrong. Like, you can't just have anybody step on to a movie set. You have to have good writing. You can't have a great actor or actress just carry a movie. You have to have good writing. And it all has to come together. So Marvel has done an incredible job. Look at DC. We've talked about DC. If his argument were true and the characters were popular and not the actors, wouldn't we have more successful DC comic movies? Because arguably, as just standalone characters before movie making came along, and all the movies that Marvel had put out and lifted up their characters, wouldn't the Superman and Batman movies, do better than they had previously? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I didn't want to spoil anything, and I think we can talk about this now because we've already signed, gentlemen. But we're going to prove this theory because the three of us has been cast in a movie called Greek Gods.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You weren't part of that meeting? Sorry. Well, I signed you up anyway. But sorry.
Fair enough.
I just saw your body one day, when I was in your bushes, looking in your window, and I'm like, he needs to be part of this movie.
Before I put on my Amish sweatpants, yes.
That's right. You say homage or Amish?
Homage.
Oh, that
Homage.
makes a lot more sense.
Neither of what you said. Homage or Amish? Neither.
Neither.
Yeah, Nick,
You were wearing a bonnet, though. What's that?
I was say Dean's been cast, Nick, in the role in that movie is Pubertus,
Pubertus.
the Greek god. Just entering eternal puberty.
Watch out, or
God of
I'll
eternal
strike your
puberty.
ass with a lightning bolt.
That's right. That's right.
So, but Brian,
No,
what do you think? Like, I mean, you're a big Tarantino fan as well, and obviously a big Marvel fan. So, like, where do you land on that?
Yeah, I agree with your points. You know, and again, even with Tarantino films, I mean, his movies he's created interesting. It's the same type of thing in many respects. He's created interesting characters, and he's brought in some good actors to play those roles who had the exposure because it's a Tarantino movie, so a lot of eyes are on it because of the buzz to go see the movie. And those actors elevated those characters into incredible heights. Now, it's not the same as a superhero, you know, but if those actors...
And he's even picked, like, not out of work, but, like, actors that weren't, you know, were, like, something back in the day.
Yeah, you think about...
like John Travolta. He resurged John Travolta's career.
You think about Pulp Fiction. You got John Travolta making a comeback, who was a huge star in the 70s. You know, megastar, to play a completely different role for him. Like you say, revitalize his career. Samuel Jackson was fairly kind of known, sort of.
Yeah, he was doing a solid work. He wasn't like a superstar, but he was doing solid work.
And his role, his acting in that just shot him to another stratosphere.
To the point to where he could get Marvel movies.
Exactly. Well, exactly. You know, I mean, you think from there, he got into the Star Wars franchise and the Marvel franchise and other huge movies around that because his acting was so good. His acting was so damn good in that movie. But Uma Thurman was introduced in this. It was just a whole...
Who went on to be in Batman and Robin.
And more... And all those guys, and Bruce Willis, you know, it kind of helped. You know, he was sort of fledgling a little bit there, and you know, definitely brought him back some. So, if the acting would not have been as good in that movie, it wouldn't have been as good a movie. So everything you said, I agree with. Like you say, when I felt the exact same way about Iron Man. I'm like, I know the character; it's an interesting character, and 3 minutes into that movie with Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark, not even Iron Man, the role of Tony Stark, and the whole smart-ass role and everything else, I'm like, I was captivated immediately with that movie. It
wouldn't have worked with anybody else, or at least to that level.
You're right. And any of those actors now, again, you have so many fans who are, you know, enthralled with those characters. If you do a poor job portraying them, they're going to decimate you in, you know, social media and everything else, and it's going to definitely impact the popularity and the money-making capabilities of that franchise. But the fact that these actors...
I've had people living in their mom's basement mad at me. You know, I'm like,
sure,
dude, I know you're my brother, but relax.
That's right. No, but you think of all those actors that's played those main Marvel characters, every single one of them, you know, is for the most part has done a very solid job. That really helped catapult that Marvel franchise, you know, and it's created opportunities for other actors playing lesser known characters to make their own fame and fortune, I guess, you know. So
I mean, you could have, you know, Captain Marvel or Thor interact, but like the process of like you have to have a script, you have to have like the writing on paper.
That's right.
And that person, it's still an acting job.
Right.
Well, this is like I mean,
I don't get the argument.
Kind of a shitty example, but before when we were doing our iterate reviews and we were talking about the Hallmark movies, I was talking about the guy that plays Kevin on This Is Us. I'm like, I think he's a good actor, but is this like what his career is now? And it's like, no, he's just in a badly written movie. Like he probably could, but it's like Bruce
Campbell really took the one I watched. Bruce Campbell took the one I watched and made it tolerable and watchable
Right.
because he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Right.
So it works on both sides. It's not a one versus other situation. Every movie and every script is different, where you're going to have the actor make the movie or the movie make the actor. So
Right.
just to argue one, and especially one because of a genre,
Right.
is very closed-minded, and yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's right. So, I mean, Tarantino definitely has a point in, yeah, these are definitely recognizable characters. The character itself is indeed a star. Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Superman is one of the most famous superheroes, if not arguably the most famous superhero that there is, period. If you see the S, people of all ages, probably who Superman is when you see a picture of it. Little kids probably
Like you go
do.
to Russia
Yeah.
and you show the S, they're like, "Oh, that's the tattoo that Dean from Convincing Idiots has on his arm."
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
There
guarantee
you go.
you.
They'd
You
be
know.
like, "Oh, this is guy that lost to Martian Manhunter in the superhero bracket." That's what they would say.
Don't
They
we
know.
need to fucking go to break or something?
No, I'm just saying, but there's been
Mother.
probably more bad Superman movies than good. There's been definitely a few good ones, but there's been a lot of bad ones as well because, like you said, the writing, good actors in the role.
Yep.
It just the writing, everything around it was not good, and I don't know. So I think we all agree here that Tarantino is wrong
Get
on this.
fucked, Quentin.
That's right.
That's what we
That's
agree.
right. Yep.
Unless you need some sort of like threesome for in a background in your podcast and your movie, then I wouldn't say get fucked. I would say give us
Yeah.
a call or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
Nick, fucking
if it-
stop it. Team with Convincing Idiots, Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.